let's suppose that Josh is choosing between two different plans. These could be like with the YMCA or some kind of phone plan or anything really. And let's suppose that the first one charges $41 to sign up and then $9.3 each month after. And then the second one charges $25 to sign up and then charges $12.50 each month. So you can see the first one charges more initially, but the second one ends up costing more per month. So the question is, for what number of months will the first plan charge at most as much as the second? So, of course, we'll have to first of all set up an equation, or an expression in this case, for the first plan. And the first one charges how much? Charges, let's put a line here so we can see that we're starting our work. And the first one is charging $41 plus an extra $9.3 per month. So let's assign a variable to the number of months. We'll use M for number of months. And then how about the other plan? Well, the other plan charges $25 to sign up and charges an extra $12.5 per month. So potentially the months could be different in certain problems, but you can see that in this particular problem they're wondering, for what number of months will the first plan charge at most as much of the second as the second? So we're going to have to put an inequality symbol between these, and we want to make sure that the first plan, the one on the left in green, is at most as much as the second. So the one on the left, the green, has to be less than or equal to the one on the right, the one that's in the red, because we want to make sure that the first plan is at most, at the highest end, it can be the red plan, the second plan. Okay, if you get up to this stage, then all it turns into now is a bunch of algebra. So we can work on our algebra here. So let's subtract 41 from both sides and subtract 12.5m from both sides for the purpose of collecting like terms. So on the left we would have negative 3.2m, and on the right we would have negative 16 less than or equal to, and then in the next stage we would divide both sides by a negative number, so be very careful here. When we divide by a negative number, inequality signs flip over. So we have m is bigger than or equal to 5. So for what number of months will the first plan charge at most as much as the second? In other words, we want the first plan to be cheaper than, but no more than, the second plan. If we go beyond 5 months, that's when the first plan will be at most as much as the second plan.